We all want that perfect jar of pure golden honey, right? And for years, we've seen these viral videos and heard old tricks that promise to help us spot a fake. But what if those tests are just, well, sweet little lies? Today, we're going to dive into the sticky truth about testing honey.
Okay, let's just jump right into the big one, the one you've definitely seen all over the internet, the famous matchstick test. It looks so simple, kind of dramatic, and it promises to give you a straight answer. But does it actually work? Like, for real? So here's the thing. The big problem with these tests is they aren't actually looking for anything fake. Nope, they're just reacting to the natural physical properties of honey, properties that, as we're about to see, can change a lot.
And this, right here, is the key. You have to remember, honey isn't some standardized product that comes off a factory line. It's a natural substance, and it completely changes depending on the flowers the bees were visiting. Some honey is thick and dark, other kinds are light and runny, so how could one simple test possibly work for all of them? It can't.
All right, let's roll up our sleeves and tackle the two heavyweights of honey myths, the flame test and the water test. I'm willing to bet you've heard of at least one of these. So here's how it's supposed to go, right? You dip a match in honey, you strike it, and if it lights up, boom, pure honey. If it just fizzles out, you've supposedly been scammed with some sugary syrup. It sounds pretty convincing, almost like a little science experiment in your kitchen. But the reality is, well, it's a lot less magical. What's really happening here has absolutely nothing to do with purity. All this test is measuring is the honey's water content. That's it. Honey with low moisture will let the match light, and honey with higher moisture won't. And this is where it gets really interesting. Most honey you buy in a store has been processed to have a water content below 17%. So yeah, the match will probably light. But pure, raw honey, straight from the hive, it can easily have a moisture content closer to 20%. So get this. A perfectly natural, super high-quality honey would actually fail this so-called purity test. Crazy, right? And then we have the water test. The story goes that if you drop honey into water and it dissolves right away, it must be fake. But again, we're just talking about basic physical properties. How fast it dissolves is all about its moisture and its viscosity, two things that are naturally all over the map from one pure honey to the next. Okay, so we've debunked fire and water. But believe me, the myths don't stop there. There's a whole other category of confusion built around how thick, sticky, or runny honey is supposed to be. I bet you've seen these ones online too. If honey forms a continuous thread without breaking, it's pure. If it pours really slowly, it's pure. Some people even claim pure honey makes a hexagon pattern in water. But all of these are just different ways of looking at its viscosity and moisture, not its authenticity. So let's just put a fine point on it, shall we? It doesn't matter if you're using a match, a glass of water, or just your eyes. None of these popular tests can actually tell you if honey has been adulterated or not. They are physical tests, not chemical analyses. Okay, so this kind of begs a really important question, doesn't it? If all the easy home tests are basically useless, how in the world are we supposed to find the real thing? Is there any way to actually be sure? Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Okay, forget the kitchen tricks, just trust the science. Surely a proper lab can give a simple, pure or fake verdict. But you might be surprised to hear, it's not that simple. Yeah, even in a lab, it's really tricky. See, labs can tell you what's in the honey, and they check if it meets certain quality standards. But here's the catch. The people who fake honey are getting smarter. They use syrups so similar to real honey that they're incredibly hard to detect. A lab might say the sample meets the standards, but that doesn't always guarantee it hasn't been tampered with. So after all that myth-busting, where does that leave us? If we can't always rely on matches, water, or even a sophisticated lab for a simple yes or no, where do we turn? Well, thankfully, the real solution is much, much simpler. The real secret to finding pure honey isn't some clever test you do in your kitchen. It's not about being a home chemist. The secret really just boils down to two things: trust and transparency. It's about knowing your source. And here they are, the only two methods you really need. First, buy your honey directly from people you trust, like a local beekeeper you meet at a farmer's market. And second, if you want the ultimate cannot-be-faked guarantee, buy honey that is still in its natural honeycomb. Can't get much more direct from the hive than that. That's it, just two. Forget the dozen different so-called tests you saw on social media. All you need are these two powerful strategies.
It's about a total shift in focus, from trying to test the product to learning to trust the producer. So, the next time you're looking for that perfect jar of honey, maybe instead of reaching for the matches, you'll reach out to a local beekeeper instead. It's such a simple change, but it makes all the difference. Now, here's the real question. Knowing all this, will you ever look at a jar of honey the same way again?